I talked about Kiss, and I was wearing a Lynyrd Skynyrd shirt. So this time I'm going to be talking about Skynyrd, but I'm wearing a pretty neutral t-shirt. It just says Snakebite. It's actually a Goodwill shirt. I just kind of randomly stumbled upon. And here I go. Here I go with my ranking and rambling stuff, more rambling than ranking. And I've got a good caffeine buzz, so that ought to work for us. Like I said, this is going to be a Skynyrd video. This is going to be me ranking the Ronnie Van Zant era albums from 73 to 77. So here we go. Honestly, it's not going to be much of a ranking thing because I like them all, really. But so Pronounced and Second Helping, the first two records are basically full of the classic Skynyrd stuff that we all pretty much know. Free Bird, Simple Man, Gimme 3 Steps. Second Helping has Sweet Home Alabama and Call Me the Breeze and Working for MCA and a bunch of other songs as well. And then those are kind of the my favorites because it's all the classics practically are on those first two records. And yeah, I say records because I'm old school. Anyway, Goofy Faces, right? Y'all should be used to my goofy faces by now. But anyway, by the third album, Nothing Fancy, Skynyrd still had Ed King as a kind of Ronnie Van Zant's songwriting partner. So, and the songwriting is still pretty strong on that album. So you got Saturday Night Special, which one of the first memories I have of Skynyrd is around my 10th birthday. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and I had nothing. Sheebadoodle. I had Golden Platinum going on my stereo. We'll put it that way, and the song Saturday Night Special came on, and I'll never forget because it came to the first verse where Ronnie Van Zant sang Two Bodies Laying Naked, and of course, like I said, I'm 10 years old, and my mom is standing in front of me while I had that song blaring on my stereo, and she heard that line and she goes, "Did he say what I thought he just said?" And I don't know what my answer was, but I probably just froze up and it was like, But anyway, what's funny is for about 5 years before that, I'd been a big Kiss fan, obviously. So she must have missed a whole bunch of interesting lyrics from them. I'll just put it that way. So anyway, going back to the first album, Pronounced. The song that actually got me into Skynyrd was Gimme 3 Steps. Golden Platinum tapes. That was kind of my introduction to Skynyrd, and like I said, Gimme 3 Steps was the song that got me hooked just on Skynyrd, and hooked on Skynyrd. It's like hooked on phonics, ain't it? Anyway, the thing that got me hooked was Gary Rossington's kind of hard rock honky tonk guitar playing. So let's see. See, I told you it's going to be rambling and ranking and rambling. Let's see. After Nothing Fancy, the third album, you had Give Me Back My Bullets, which was the first one without Ed King, and the first one without producer Al Cooper. So by Give Me Back My Bullets, Al Cooper, it kind of sweetened the Skynyrd sound on those first three albums, and the songwriting was still strong on those three albums anyway. So I don't know if it. I hate to say that. I was gonna say I don't know if it mattered too much, but maybe that's the wrong way to put that. But And also, like I said, they had lost Ed King by that point. But so I think for that reason, the songwriting might not have been as strong as it had been before. But it's still a good album. It had, let's see, I forgot to talk about Cheating Woman off the Nothing Fancy album. If you want to hear Ronnie Van Zant sound like he's pissed off, check that song out if you haven't yet. And then also on the third album, Nothing Fancy, you had Whiskey Rock and Roller, which I always liked because when I was in high school, I had a bus driver. I rode the short bus. Yeah. Anyway, I had a bus driver that was a Skynyrd fan, and her daughter was a Skynyrd fan, and I had classes with her daughter, and her daughter. There's a line in the song "Whiskey Rock and Roller" off the Nothing Fancy album that says, "I got me a queenie. She got long brown curly hair." Well, this girl had long brown curly hair, and I thought she was pretty good looking, and I kind of had a little crush on her. And she was, like I said, she was a Skynyrd fan, so. And she was also a Van Halen fan, which Skynyrd and Van Halen were pretty much my teenage years, musically, so. But anyway, so getting back to Giving Back My Bullets, like I said, the songwriting might not have been as good as it had been on the previous three records, but you had a couple of message songs like you had Every Mother's Son and Trust, which they're not exactly in the on the level of Simple Man, but they're pretty good message type songs. Which Ronnie Van Zant's whole thing was he was a really good storyteller or songwriter. So let's see. That's about it until we get up to Street Survivors, which by that point they had hired Steve Gaines as third guitarist. They only had Alan Collins and Gary Rossington on guitar for "Give Me Back My Bullets." So, but they had, like I said, they had added Steve Gaines for Street Survivors, and again, the songwriting was a little bit better on that album. And you had "What's Your Name" and "That Smell," which is my favorite song on that album. And what else? "I Know a Little" and let's see, "What's Your Name," "That Smell." I'm missing one. It's a pretty, big one, but anyway. And they also had a good cover of the Merle Haggard song, "Honky Tonk Nighttime Man."